gonna start. The recording has started. And here we go. Now 5, 4, 3, 2. Alrighty, folks. Welcome back to another episode of the Slice of Life podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, you know the deal. We slice up people's lives. And today, he came back for what? This is your third time now?
Third time on, yeah.
Third time on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, D'Angelo Rucker is on the other side of the table. My movie guy, my guy that I can talk to about anything to do with I don't know, man. We talk about famous people. We can talk about anything,
directing,
anything that has to do with that sort of aspect of life. We're gonna talk about. So, D'Angelo, dude, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I need to watch a movie. I have an itch to go back to these theaters to watch a movie.
I understand,
I need to fucking see a movie,
dude. I feel you, man. I feel you.
I saw Freaky.
You saw Freaky?
Yeah.
Oh, Freaky? You saw Freaky? Oh, wait. How was that? We'll get to that.
Okay.
But that's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk movies on this panel right now with DJ. We're going to talk about what's coming up in December. We're going to talk about the movie industry, what we think is going to happen next year. And that's pretty much this episode. That's what this episode is going to be about. And one of the best things that we're going to do now, guys, is I want you guys to know that we do have, for those people that just watch the YouTube version, we do have the audio version, and vice versa for people that do just listen to the audio version. We also do have the YouTube version. That's the best way to put it. So, guys, go check that out. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, because it looks really good and aesthetically pleasing for me to put it on video. So this is why I like it. I want people to see not just the voices, but put the faces with the voices. And DJ, dude, we've already discussed how we feel about 2019 or 2020, and we discussed a lot about it. And I mean, has that changed for you?
So like what my aspect of like the 2020, how it's looking like?
Yeah,
it's pretty shitty.
Okay. That was kind of the same.
Still, it was shitty. The first time I came on, second time I came on, and it's still kind of shitty. It's looking up to it though. Towards the end of the year, you got the Mike Tyson fight. You got these movies coming out.
Yeah.
Which we will talk about.
It's a little upturn from what what we're used to, I guess.
Yeah, a good lead into 2021.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good year. I mean, I'm being optimistic, and I hope everybody does the same for anybody else that's out there. Like, I hope they do the same. But DJ, just tell some of my new viewers, what do you do? What is it that's good about you and stuff like that?
So I do directing. I mainly do directing, but I also do writing, and I also dabble in acting as well. Some of my favorite directors happens to be like Christopher Nolan, Quentin Tarantino, like the top ones. Paul Greengrass is another one that I like.
Right.
Some writing. I actually got into writing because of a script that I wrote back during a talent show of my senior year, which was called The Name's Bill, and it was a comedic script that we performed live in front of people. It was a theatrical performance, and everyone loved it. It was about a 40-minute skit. And so I kind of just took off from there, just going into filmmaking, and I have a deep passion and deep love for filmmaking, the art of it, what goes into making them. Some good movies out there. I actually get really surprised with some people. They're like, oh, I don't like movies. And I'm like, why? It's like, because none of them are good. I'm like, what do you mean? There's so many movies of so many, genres and varieties. There has to be one that sticks. But I totally get it. I get people who probably, it's time consuming, things like that. But
it's I wouldn't even say it's a accumulated taste. Like, I feel like everybody has to love some sort of aspect of movies. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. One of the things that, I love doing, especially now, is just love talking about movies. And for those of y'all that have been following me since the beginning, that's how I started. That's how, I was just movie reviews and Johnny reviews. And we just pretty much...
Damn, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, totally, man, we broke down movies and stuff like that, and not saying that it's not in the I didn't like doing that. I just knew I had so many other interests and so many other people that wanted to talk on this podcast. I'm like, I think this is the way to do it. So We're just getting back to the roots.
Did you not like it like when you were doing it?
Dude, I did, man. I loved it, and I love breaking down movies from like Act 1 to Act 2, and just even like saying like the cinematography and I don't know, man. I just love digesting movies piece by piece, especially when it's movies that, you know, I mean, pop culture wise or just historically wise, have done. We're living in a really good golden age of movies, and I hope people know that. And with that being said, I mean, I was bit by the Marvel bite, the Disney bite, any sort of like pop culture reference that you can imagine, like now. I fall victim to it all the time, and that's the thing, man. I'm not saying that I didn't dislike what I did in the beginning. I'm just saying that it comes to fruition. It comes back over a sense of period. And this is why I wanted you to come back on, man. Like I love having you, freaking Chase, Mitch. We just talk movies all the time.
That's the crew right there.
We just talk like nothing but good quality stuff. Especially because I learn new things from you guys. Like it's fun being surrounded by people that you can see that, oh, we all like the same thing. But you being like a director and having a producing side to that, and then him being a videographer, cinematography, and all this stuff, Chase, and then me and Mitch more are like the commentators, and that's the thing. Like we see different perspectives, and that's what I can respect about anybody that has like a good like love for movies, because you don't know what that love is. Like you can totally see a movie differently than I would.
Yeah.
You know, that's what, and because of you, like I get into foreign films a lot more, and not like
good, as you should.
Right.
Watch foreign 100%,
man. And I mean, I watch like Spanish movies, but I wouldn't consider them foreign. Like I sometimes, but because I'm so ingrained into that culture, it's just I can watch those movies and still feel like, oh, okay, that's because
it's homey. Yeah.
Yes,
like,
it's
anything
my
that's foreign. It could be, I mean, like relevant to you, foreign to you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Foreign to me would be like French movies, Italy movies.
Right.
Like you, I know you're into Japanese and like,
J horror. The Japanese, actually all of Asia, like they're really good with their martial arts and their action movies.
Right.
Their marketing, though, when it comes to marketing, I think America like beats out everybody.
100%, man. I mean, like we hold the. We're king in the realm of like what would you say, like
I would say movies like in general,
famousness, and I don't know, there's like we're known for a lot over here, and our celebrities are pretty much worshipped over here, and I hate saying it like that.
Well, I mean, like it's, you're right, like we pretty much dominate cinemas like across the world. We have like countries that are trying to replicate what we're doing, but see, this
Hollywood.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
You said Bollywood?
Bollywood, right?
Oh.
Like India.
Well,
like
I actually
Bollywood
don't
movies?
know why they call it Bollywood. I never looked into that.
I don't either, but it's
But
so out of the.
Have you seen
wazoo.
Have you seen any of their like Bollywood films?
I would watch like little short clips on Facebook, just people talking about like how it's
insane.
Bizarre it is.
It's insane. There's this one, I couldn't tell you the name. I personally have never seen a Bollywood film. Maybe I should add that to the list. But I've seen scenes of like different ones, and it's always something so like this one dude is driving and he he spins the car, brakes, and the car flips over, and he grabs the person out of the fucking car as he's like mid-flip. And then he kicks the car, and the car hits like three other dudes over there, and it's like, yo, who is this, God? Like, what is going on?
The
here?
slow motion part where the gun shoots and they just like
and you're just catching the fucking
all
bullets.
the bullets and shit. It's so crazy.
It's
bro.
so outlandish.
Yeah, and that's an art of its own. Like I can't we can sit back and laugh about it, but they probably think of it as like, whoa,
they probably think it's dope. Yeah, it's probably
so
dope as hell.
Crazy.
I was actually I've going to the fact of like watching movies and having a deep appreciation for it. Something that I've done recently is what my mom she likes to watch like romance comedies, things like that. Or hard-hitting dramas, especially of like the black culture, like The Color Purple, things like that. And so just recently, I've gotten her comfortable with watching movies that she's not comfortable with watching, like outside of her comfort zone. So a movie like I don't know what's a good movie. Oh my goodness, that one movie that just came out.
1984 or the is it a war movie?
Yes, that war movie.
1917.
1917.
Yes.
There we go. Thank you. I knew it was 1918. I had her watch that, and on the surface, right, as taking it for face value of what it is, it's a basic war movie. But there's so many like things that are included into that movie that a lot of people like it might go under their radar. Like even something as simple as like they do seamless. It's called seamless editing, which is basically it looks like the movie's done in one ginormous take.
Right.
But it's just seamless. It's actually multiple takes, but it looks like it's one take, and that's to submerge you more into this movie that you're actually with these two soldiers on their journey to delivering a message to the front line, whatever. Gotcha. Something that I've made her very aware of is the music, and I've expressed this many times to like my friends and people who like follow me on my Snapchat and everything. I fucking love music and film, which are their scores. And
same with my roommate. He loves those. Like Andrew, he loves like
Andrew. Yeah.
Anytime I ask him, like, "Dude, what's your favorite type of music?" and he just says like, "It's the music in movies." Yeah. And it doesn't have to mean like the movie, like I guess music now. It's just like the composing side of the movie,
like
the music.
Specifically composing a song for a specific scene,
right?
Or just a movie in general. And I promise you, if you like actually watch a movie, and well, let me not promise because you might not like it, but if you watch a movie and you listen to its music, like it enhances the scene. But it's like it's something you don't really catch. It's something that's kind of like in the back of your head, but then you focus in on it, you're like, damn, this like actually insinuates the scene. They could have very well just went silent.
100%.
Like it could have definitely been quiet, but
it's
stuff like that. It's just like it's fucking great.
Yeah, bro. One of the things that I think it's a trend, but I'm so happy it's a trend, or like in the recent years, but the transitioning of like scene to scene, and it's like they would pick a song or some sort of like short-lived music scene for that little transitioning scene alone. And those little transitionings make the movie. And for me, I can relate one little piece of sound to one of my favorite movies, The Sandlot, like the clarinet, and like
Sandlot,
yes, like where the clarinet goes like and then like it goes into some sort of scene that I can recall just from that movie, even though it's not a song. It is one little piece of music.
It's a tune.
One little tune.
And you can remember the whole thing.
Whole thing, bro.
Like culturally, like the Star Wars theme.
Oh, yes.
You cannot, like, dude.
Yes.
That's instantly, just from the high brass.
Yes.
The first fucking note.
Yes.
I remember working at World of Disney, and it would come on all the time.
Bro, like we...
Around the t-shirt wall?
Yeah, I know, man. I know.
Did I tell you that story? That like
I worked there too, bro, but I can understand.
No. The story that like it was playing on repeat every like at one night it was playing on repeat, and I actually went to one of the leaders. I was like, "Yo, can you guys turn this off?
Can you move me out of zone 3
or like,
and put me somewhere else?
Or move me? Like I can't because it was like it wasn't even the whole song. It was like a 10-second time loop. I was like, listen, I love the song, but damn, bro, like, I don't like it that much. Shit.
No, man. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's get the reason I love like talking movies and stuff, or just doing this podcast in general, is just because it's so hard to find motivation to stay in the love for movies, to love movies coming out because of everything that's going on with the pandemic, everything that's going on with movie theaters right now. It is so hard to stay in with all the new movies and stuff like that. And a lot of good movies are coming out this year, or like this December, that I'm like, or a few that I can recall that I'm like, dude, I'm super excited for it. And it doesn't matter if it's going to streaming or going to the movies. And I think we're excited just because there are some movies that are coming out in movie theaters that we're just kind of like, I might want to go see it in the big screen. Yeah. I might want to go see it. And maybe it's their way to get more people back into the movie theaters. I don't know. What do you think is going on, man? Like, if you can just recall what's going on in December. Like,
so in December, I actually pulled it up on my phone because there's literally two movies that you do know, two movies that you probably don't. That's probably going under people's radar. The two most prominent is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's coming out, and there's another one. Hold on, let me pull it up for you. There's not really a lot of movies coming out at the moment. That comes down to the studios, and the studios.
Well, movies in theaters and just in general.
Both.
Okay.
Studios. A good example would be Black Widow or even Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman got pushed back 3 times.
Yes.
Black Widow's gotten pushed back 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry. He's gotten pushed back twice.
Yes.
There's just so many, and they just continue to keep getting pushed back. And that's not down to the theaters or anything. That's literally down to the studio. And Tenet was the one that got pushed back 3 times.
Yeah, we talked about Tenet and how that was supposed to be their big, I guess, debut to come back to the movie theaters. Like, it's gonna be fine. And
it got a significant amount of people to go back, but the studios, if to my understanding, if I still have this correct, they have yet to have released the box office numbers, and a lot of people are thinking the reason why they're holding off on releasing that information is because they don't want to basically have competition. Like, they don't want, if they release those numbers and they're good, that's going to tell other studios, okay, you guys can release their movies, because people, if the right movie's coming out, they'll come back.
Right.
So they're keeping that kind of like to themselves. A lot of studios don't want to take that chance to release a movie in theaters and then no one goes to go see it. Yeah. And then they lose money and profit.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm looking at a list right now, and this is from MovieWeb, and I movieweb.com. I don't know how accurate this is, but it's they're popular movies, so I'm pretty sure it's pretty there's a Ryan Reynolds movie coming out called Free Guy.
Yeah, so it was supposed to got pushed back.
Yeah, December 9th. That was like the one.
It got pushed back. Do you know about that movie?
No.
Oh, dude, it's like Grand Theft Auto. It's like a Grand Theft Auto movie. It's the best way to put it. Monster Hunter, December 3rd. Yeah, it's still set to release. At least to my understanding.
Yeah, I'm just trying to name off the movies that I feel like would be notable. The Father, I saw it has Anthony Hopkins in it, and it's supposed. Or I saw a trailer for it, so I got a little excited for it. Don't know how big it is, but it comes out December 18th. Coming to America, the second. I mean, this is coming the number 2 America with.
It's coming out when?
Eddie Murphy, December 18th.
Of this month?
December. Yeah, coming out December.
False.
Dude, I don't know. It just says that. It's just, that's why.
If that was coming out, oof.
Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, it's Wonder Woman, Monster Hunter.
Yes.
The Midnight Sky, which is the one that I said might go under people's radar, and News to the World, which is another under the radar one. So the Midnight Sky, I guess I'll talk about like what they are, and then we can like discuss. Okay. But the Midnight Sky, at least from how it's marketed and trailers, I try not to watch trailers too often because I like to go in with as little information as possible, because marketing now for trailers, it reveals way too much, at least personally. Midnight Sky is
depends on the company that's like putting it
depends on the studio. Yeah, exactly. Midnight Sky is a movie directed by George Clooney, starring George Clooney.
Ooh.
I don't know if this is his directorial debut. If it's not, I definitely need to go back to see if he's done his other work. Mm-hmm. But to my understanding, this might be his first one. I could totally be wrong on that. And it's basically it's him and it's like I think this little girl, and you think it's like central. They're in Antarctica and they're wearing like a lot of clothing, whatever, and it's cold, whatever. But it's actually kind of like a sci-fi.
Right.
And from my understanding, they're stopping astronauts from going to like another planet or something. And that instantly deals with space. You know I love space. I'm for it. I don't even know what the hell it's about, but there's some cool shots in there of them being in space and everything. So
this one comes out when?
This one comes
in December.
Yeah.
Okay.
This comes out this month. Whether if it's on streaming service or not, I don't know.
Right.
A lot of studios have been like at the very last minute pulling them from theaters and just being like, hey, we're releasing them straight to video on demand.
Right.
This one is set to release December 23rd.
Okay.
The other one is News to the World. News to the World.
I just saw that one, yeah.
Yeah, with Tom Hanks. Mm-hmm. And from what I gather from that, I don't know who directed or anything, but he's basically back in the old times.
The old times.
The olden times. Where
old times can be 2010, bro.
Damn, if the old times is 2010,
It could be. Some would be like the old times.
When
the old times.
when war was going on and they didn't have like newspaper to print.
Give me a decade.
Yeah. No.
Give me a decade. Like, give me a specific time period.
18.
Oh, okay, so
90, 1900.
Oh, okay.
No, I think there was a printing press in 1900.
Yeah, kind of going in. Like maybe 1890s, 1880s, maybe. I don't remember that. Like,
I don't know what war.
Recall.
Yeah, I don't know what war this is taking place, but he's basically a guy
post Civil War.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, post Civil War, pre World War
One, around that era. we're getting like
we got a little window there.
Which my roommate, she's like all history buff, and she's like, actually, it was Victoria. You know, she's big history buff, so she'll tell us that, but she ain't here. So
do I call her out for La La Land?
When she gets here, if we're still doing this, if we're still rolling, yeah, it'd be like, what did you do?
If she strolls in. But yeah, basically, Tom Hanks is playing the guy. They don't have a printing press. They have people who go from town to town to deliver the news to the people. And he's basically delivering news to the people, but not about the bad, but more necessarily about the good. And it's a drama. And that's all I got from it. I stopped watching after that first trailer. I was like, okay.
Seems interesting. Very interesting.
I know I'm giving a lack of detail, and if you want, you can look up the details. You're
not the trailer, and I don't want that. But see,
watch the trailer. Guys.
The trailer is supposed to hook you. Like, and if you don't get hooked on it, then it's probably not that. You don't think it's going to be that interesting. Okay, so the two that are for me the big focal points is Soul and.
Soul comes out this month.
Dude, Soul comes out at Christmas.
Oh, what? Yes. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Soul and Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah.
Those are the two that I am super excited about. I don't know how they're going to go, which one's going to do better. What's the benefits of doing streaming without, I guess, the repercussions of it, and trying to figure out how much money they're going to be making. Because we saw what ended up happening with Mulan, and having that package that you buy, even though you already have Disney Plus. I don't know. I don't like that process, and it's so confusing for people to do, especially if it's like, if that's the way to watch a movie, then I wouldn't. I think the only way that you could do it is just by like getting a pool of people watching it all together at somebody's place, and that's probably like the best way to put it, to be honest. Wonder Woman 1984, everything with the pandemic and everything, I still think it's going to do good, to be honest. Okay. I think, and I'm not disalluding everything that's going on right now. I'm not telling people to go watch it. I'm not telling people to go do anything. I just think it's going to be a good movie. Mm-hmm. That's not going to stop people from going. Right. 100%. I don't know. I mean, there are some people that have that fatigue and want to go see it or want to go do things. And for those people, just be safe. I guess that's the best way to put it. But going back to Wonder Woman 1984, just the franchise alone of Wonder Woman has been doing phenomenal. I love the first one. Yeah. And I think it was for a female role, and actually Gal Gadot, she's a phenomenal actor, and she can actually portray the role really well, like she is Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we're getting a follow-up to that, I love that much more. And especially it's just the 80s, man. I love 80s memorabilia. I love music from that era, and it's just crazy to me that it sucks that for all these movies that they like have to be pushed back or not in the movie sense going into movie theaters for the pandemic alone. And it really, like, it hurts because I'm like, damn, like not just bankrupt, or not just in the bank, but just like it just hurts everybody in the process. It does suck. I can personally say, and COVID free, knock on wood, I've gone to the movies twice. Yeah. Since this whole pandemic thing rolled out, I've only gone twice. I went for Tenet, which I ended up seeing. So if you want to count that, I went for two movies, but I went for Tenet to go see that movie
2 times.
Twice.
I had to. Oh my
I
god,
know, man. I watched it in the movies too, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
They do a really good. See, the theater industry is like dying, and they're trying so hard to get people to come to the theaters.
Yes.
But people are just like they're like not wanting to take that risk. It's not really even a risk. Like they're doing really good. At least to the theater I go to. I go to Cinemark. I haven't been to any other theater.
I love Cinemark more, to be honest.
Yeah, I like their, they have their whole cleaning protocol and everything. It's fantastic, and they have the seats socially distanced, everything. I haven't been to AMC, assuming that they're even taking people, because the last time I heard, they're going bankrupt and they shut their doors. Haven't been to Regal, so I go to Cinemark, and I kind of stuck with it because the first time I went there, everything was like socially distanced, everything was clean. They do everything for you like right there in front of you, so I like this, so I'm kind of sticking with them. And I saw Tenet twice. Theaters are empty. No one is in these theaters. And then I went to go see Freaky about a week and a half ago with Vince Vaughn. Did you happen? Did you see it?
I know the concept of the movie where they switch bodies, and it's a very funny twist, especially if you have Vince Vaughn in it. It's just like you don't know what's gonna happen.
I totally went in thinking that it was gonna be like average. Like I thought it was gonna be okay, but it was actually really fucking good. It's because it breaks all of those norms, those cliches. So this isn't really a spoiler, but I'm going in thinking, okay, she's gonna switch bodies with Vince Vaughn, and if you watch the trailers, Vince Vaughn is the murderer.
Yes.
I'm thinking he's just a regular
spoiler.
Well, no, this isn't really a spoiler.
Yeah, true.
Oh well.
I don't know how much you're gonna go in, but just
No. Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna say it. Spoiler.
Okay, yeah, we'll say it. I'm pretty good at being spoiler free, but yeah. If you see the trailer, go see the trailer. But spoiler: Vince Vaughn is the killer. If that's not,
I just don't know how much you're gonna get into it.
No, I won't get deep. But I'm thinking that basically, he's like a regular slasher killer, but he's more or less in the
slash-slinging slasher.
The hash-slinging
slasher.
The hash slinging.
The slash ringing, hash ringing, dinging. Nah, if people can quote that.
Yes, the hash slinging slasher.
But yes. Squidward.
Don't get me on SpongeBob, bro.
I
That's
know,
my
bro.
shit.
You said slasher.
No, but he's basically like a he's not like a regular knife killing type of murder. He's like Jason. Like he's like a powerhouse type of guy. That was literally it. It's not a spoiler or anything. He's just like a powerhouse, and so that aspect alone by itself, there were certain elements that they did with that. Like instead of me switching bodies with just a random dude who came in and he was just like, he's just a psychopath, right? What if I switched bodies with Jason? Like, how you're always running away, and no matter how far you get, Jason's like right there.
Right.
Jason's like abnormally strong. Fucking you open the door, close the door, he walks through the fucking door. That type of shit. And it's just like
Vince Vaughn does have the height and
he's
kind
big
of
as fuck.
Fortitude. Yeah, dude.
I didn't know that going
big.
into that, and I was like, oh shit, he's like a fucking. So what if you switch bodies with Jason Voorhees? And it is so funny. Like they do so many jokes with that.
I need to watch it.
It's funny, man. It's funny. Like how damn and then the fact that you can run as far as you want. And they disappear out of nowhere,
right?
Or they're walking super slow. So many jokes. It's really funny. I definitely recommend it. I went off the handle there for a second.
Nah, it's all good. I mean, Freaky is one of the movies that are coming out that people that's the thing. It's hard to go see a movie like Freaky right now because it's what they're really trying to promote are the blockbusters. They're trying to really throw those out there. So it's so hard. It's. I saw Freaky's trailer, so I was already sold with Vince Vaughn. Mm-hmm. I was like, dude, I love Vince Vaughn.
That's phenomenal. Too.
Phenomenal.
That's a good job.
So when I saw that, I was like, I'm gonna go watch that soon. Maybe I don't know when, but I want to go watch it.
Yeah.
But with Wonder Woman coming out in theaters and Soul coming out in Disney Plus, what do you think? What do you think is the end game right now?
So Soul being with Disney, I think they might do what they did with Mulan, where
You really think so?
Yeah, I think they'll have a limited release. It probably won't make profit just because, for one, up until you just said it, I didn't even know Soul was coming out this month. So
That's one of my like highest expected like movies of 2020.
And unless you're a fan of it, like, mind you, I watch trailers all the time. Like, I watch trailers to movies coming out in fucking Italy, you know?
Yeah.
I have not seen not one recent trailer of Soul. And so that just means...
You haven't seen the recent trailer of Soul?
Mm-mm. And it's not...
Or at all. Have you not seen the trailer of Soul?
No, I mean, like, has there been a trailer that's released in the past month?
No. Wait. I think there was like 2 trailers,
that released in the past month, in the month of November.
Not in the past month.
See, that's what I'm saying. So they're lacking.
That I can recall, you know.
Oh yeah, I think I watched their first one, and then I opted out of watching the second one.
Really?
Yeah.
The first one didn't hook you?
No, it did.
Oh, okay.
It's because it hooked me why I didn't want to watch the second one. The second trailer, if you guys don't know, I'm sorry, I looked there and you probably couldn't hear me. And also for your information, for marketing purposes, the first trailer is supposed to hook you. The second trailer is supposed to give you like the main details and points to that of the movie.
Okay.
And then the third trailer is supposed to basically fill in the blanks of any doubt that you might have as to go to watch the movie. So the second trailer usually is the one that gives you the most spoilers in a movie.
Okay, so
for example, I'll give you a good example. Batman v Superman. First trailer. If you watch the first trailer to Batman v Superman, you're fucking hooked. You're like, holy shit, it's Superman, Batman. It ends great because it ends with Batman. We're going to see that. But yes, it was definitely follow what I said. It was very revealing. It basically showed you what the movie's going to be about.
Are you mad at me?
No, not at all.
Good.
No.
Because I don't care if you're mad at me. I just wanted you to watch it.
No, not at all, man. If someone gets mad because you show them a trailer, like, come on.
Dude,
that's what trailers are for.
100%. But here's my dilemma. I don't know if putting out all movies on streaming services is a good idea. My phone's ringing. But
is that what I hear? I'm like, what is that noise? I thought that was your computer.
No, bro, no. But
you don't think that putting movies out onto streaming services is a good idea?
I don't know if putting all movies on streaming services. Like, yes, we know. Maybe I'm just because I love the idea of movie theaters, and we know that streaming is going to be the next big thing. So this is why I'm kind of like, I guess, defending the idea of movies going still on the big screen.
I can see it though. It's unfortunate, but I can definitely see why they're doing it. Like,
why?
Well, okay, so think about it. Let me try to put it in a good example. Let's say you take the Slice of Life podcast episode with Johnny and D'Angelo, right? And you want people to see it. You want that exposure. Now, because of the pandemic, people aren't able to go out and see your video. So let's say, for example, that you could push out this very same video, right, to central locations in Florida where people can go and watch it. There's no guarantee that they're going to go watch it. Or you can put it up on YouTube. Which one are you going to do?
I'm putting it up on YouTube.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, but see, look...
Because there's no guarantee that they're going to go see. No, it's not even an exposure thing or anything. It's just there's no guarantee that people are going to come. They're going to show up to go see it. But if you put it up on YouTube, there's a bigger guarantee.
So my question now is, do you think it's going to bounce back?
Oh man,
I guess that's more of the question I'm alluding to.
I want it to. I personally don't think it will. I think COVID is. I think it's changed like our culture. I knew this was the case rather. When the other day I was just watching TV and there was a commercial for a temperature check machine. I was like, holy shit, there's a commercial. Like, it was a BOGO deal. It was like, buy one, get one free temperature check. I was like, what? So I feel like this is going to stick around for a while. I feel like this is now, as people were saying at the beginning, this is going to be the new norm. And people aren't going to want to go out to the movies because they're not going to want to catch this thing that's out there. So everything's going to be streaming. And that's why a lot of these like studios and branches, they're making their own streaming service. Did you hear about The Office? The Office is getting pulled from Netflix.
What?
Yeah. The Office has been on Netflix for forever. I know people.
What, is it because of a licensing contract deal or is it?
No,
Then,
no, no, no.
okay,
it's-
then I can see.
So I know people who literally bought Netflix just so they can watch The
Watch it.
Office. It's
Yeah.
literally the greatest background noise that you could put on, and it's a great show to enjoy.
Same with Friends, to be honest.
Friends, all yeah.
But yeah, Friends was gone for
And
a while.
NBC was like, we're gonna make our own streaming service.
So damn.
So they were
see,
like, we're pulling your The Office.
Man.
So everyone's making their own streaming service. If Soul fails in theaters, which I didn't even know up until now that it's going straight to Disney Plus, but let's say it was coming out in theaters, they would definitely have a limited release to try to get profit, to get a feel for maybe if it was gonna do good. It looks like Disney said fuck that, and they're not gonna do a limited release going straight to Disney Plus, which is a smart move because I didn't know it was coming out this month. They've been falling back on their marketing.
Right.
I didn't even know.
Or we just been slacking. But I mean, what I'm saying is we're not so hyped to go see a movie as much as pre-COVID. Does that make sense?
Oh, exactly.
And for me to kind of like, I get what you're saying. I get exactly, and I didn't even know that about The Office and NBC.
Yeah.
Like that's
Streaming service is a good failsafe. Wonder Woman has HBO Max. They've expressed it many times
Right.
that if it's
But
not
HBO
doing
on its own, like I feel like that's okay. But I mean, Netflix played it smart before COVID. They already have a good, legitimate Netflix series, Netflix
originals.
exclusives,
Yeah.
Netflix, yeah. And so and Disney already had, like, they bought out Fox. So if that deal's still going and they don't go bankrupt, they already have a shit ton of things that they can talk about, or put on there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But these smaller ones are kind of like not concerning, but a little bit more wild cardish for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much does NBC have besides news?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I know for sure that the first one to go that a lot of people had an uproar about was Parks and Rec.
Oh, what?
They pulled it.
Already?
Yeah, they already pulled it. And then they were like, next one to go is The Office.
Oh, man, Netflix is dang, dude. That's gonna suck.
So everyone's getting a little salty,
Yeah.
licensing wise, because they're all doing their own thing. All of them were friends, and now they're like, fuck you. I want my shit back.
Yeah. it's that's tough. That's very tough because I mean
It's business.
it is, man.
It's really unfortunate. Like, it sucks that now I have to go and make a purchase for NBC streaming service. I have to buy their whole streaming service when in actuality I just gonna watch like The Office.
right.
You know, but I mean at the end of the day it's business, and it makes so much sense. It's just really unfortunate for people who enjoy those shows and enjoy like those movies, the movie going experience, or having to retch your pocket in order to see the one show on the streaming service that you thought was, you know, a good price for, but
Right.
now you have to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 streaming services, 6 bills.
Right.
So
Yeah, I guess you're not wrong. And if it's true what we are seeing with movie theaters and stuff, let me ask you this question.
mhm.
The idea of I don't know, I was reading and watching like other videos and stuff like that, but there's this rumor that there's going to be all these I guess companies buying out all these movie theaters, and not sure if it's like a specific company that's doing it or if it's just like the idea of companies doing that.
Mhm.
Like Disney saying that they own per se, not the whole company of AMC, but like some limited amount of Disney theaters.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, like a
Like-
a franchisee
Yeah,
type
sort
of thing. Okay. So the question is basically whether if I think that that's
Possible, and if it is,
a bigger
what do you think of it?
I think it could happen. Damn, that would be fucking crazy.
It'd be like NBC owning this many theaters, and then you can go watch Parks and Rec or The Office, or I don't know, whatever movies that they fucking put out.
I mean, it's definitely possible, especially if we're talking about Disney. We're talking about the same people who bought out Fox. A whole ass studio. Probably one of the biggest merger deals in the history of fucking merging.
Yeah, I would say it's up there with like all these other technology companies and all these other
Yeah.
like merging together and shit.
It definitely could happen. That would be nuts if Disney had like their own
Like little
Theater?
theater. like AMC and Cinemark are gone. It's just gonna be Disney theater. Like,
Jeez, Disney is man.
well, you can watch these at your local Disney theater.
I can see the Monopoly mustache on them. I
Yeah,
swear.
so that's what I mean. Is that like
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the fact that they probably could. Do I see it happening? Probably not, just because of the fight that these theaters are trying to put up for themselves to make a profit for themselves. AMC's going bankrupt. I know a lot of these theaters are trying really hard to like stay in business.
Yeah, it's like what people don't understand is that like because AMC and Cinemark own the theaters and stuff like that, that doesn't mean that all of the profit that they see, like or all of the profit that movies bring in, are for the theaters. Like,
Oh, no.
there's like small percentage of that goes to the theaters,
Yeah, no.
and
A majority of their profits and money comes from the concessions.
the concessions.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's you have to sell like a experience. I guess that's the best way to put it. But it's so hard and for theaters now to kind of like even do that. So that's why that idea kind of got up in my head. It's saying like if Disney owned a couple of these theaters, they can just bank on that. But it's such a monopoly.
Yeah, man, that would be crazy.
Yes.
I mean, when Disney bought Fox, I thought that was crazy. Disney buying like having their own theater, and then
like.
and then the fucking the ground in which they sit upon is blood money. They bought out AMC. Yo, that would be
It's
nuts.
like, yo, AMC, we'll buy out these portions of, not all of it. We'll just buy some of these, and then we'll just keep them as our own. Is that cool with you?
That's
Cool.
That would be nuts.
Nuts, bro. But
Never.
the idea of like all these streaming services going, like all these companies going to, I don't think it's out of the norm. Like, I think
Yeah.
it's possible to say that it could happen.
Yeah, it definitely could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I just want to see what you thought about that.
It definitely could happen. I mean, I couldn't really, I couldn't even give you a guess. It could, it might,
Right.
might not. It all depends on how everything goes, especially if like the country. I think that they're talking about shutting down the country again. If the country gets shut down, these theaters are fucked.
Yeah.
Like they're squeezing as much as they can.
They're like,
If the country gets shut down again, these theaters are done. Unfortunately,
man, like entertainment is going to be one of the first ones to go. And that's sad to say. But, and lighter news. Just kidding.
Lighter news.
And brighter news. No, you're not wrong, man. I hope it doesn't happen, but at the same time, I really do hope that movie theaters somehow, some way end up adapting to make sure that they still kind of like stay in business. Because I mean, don't get me wrong. Have you ever been to drive-in?
Yeah, actually.
What do you think about it?
It's good. I prefer theater.
Okay.
Just because
It's very classy, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah, I like, being in the actual room, in the air conditioning, I can have the room to do what I want, and there's a huge ass screen. Oops, my fault. But the drive-in was cool. You're sitting in the comfort of your car. It's playing from like your radio.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have bomb ass speakers, sound system, it's gonna be
dope.
it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's more or less, because it's like more distraction when you're in the drive-in. A lot of people walking in and out. Their cars are on, car lights coming on. It kind of breaks that suspension of disbelief, as opposed to when you're in the theater. It's like, don't talk, turn off your phone. You might get something here or there, but definitely not as distracting as a drive-in.
Yeah.
So it's good. It was a great experience.
Great
I went
experience,
to go see. Oh my goodness, the movie with David Bowie. Old. And I keep wanting to say Pan's Labyrinth, and it's not that
one.
It's
The 2006 version?
text me right now. The old one. I don't know. But I went to go see that. It was my first time watching it. Someone was like, "Yo, we have to go watch it."
Yeah, I
Pretty
think nostalgically, those. I think that's only good for a specific type of movie. Like blockbuster movies that are coming out, obviously deserve a big screen.
Right.
And so I think that's why I like watching certain movies on the big screen, just like I like watching certain movies on like, I guess not even the smaller screen. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not gonna want to watch like the whole season of 100 on on a fucking big screen, or you know, even just kind of like watching like a funny comedy or something like that.
Right.
That's another thing we're going to talk about is comedy, because I can't get enough of comedy, and I think people need to laugh more. But no, speaking of the direction of comedy in movies, where do you think it's going?
It's getting really cheesy, man. It's getting...
Elaborate.
So comedy is a touchy subject, first and foremost.
Hence the reason why I want to talk about it.
Yeah, comedy is touchy, because comedy ages. Laughter, and
You
jokes.
don't think comedy can be universal? Objective instead of subjective?
Yeah, it depends. You see, so a lot of people, and you know, rightfully so, we're in a lot of political heat right now. You know, with
we talked about it a little bit on the panel, but I wanted to
go in depth,
detail.
Yeah, everything's very, very, very political. You know, you have the Black Lives Matter movement, you have the LGBTQ community coming out, being a lot more open with a lot more freedom, which is great. All these things are great,
right?
But a lot of jokes stem from, like, I wouldn't say dark humor, but making light of those dark of those dark areas that a lot of people wouldn't necessarily say quite often. But with comedy, you bring light to those, and it's like, you know, it's funny. It's fucked up, but kind of funny. Dave Chappelle is like a great example of this. Dave Chappelle is arguably, in my opinion, one of the best comedians with stand-up comics to this day. And a lot of stand-up comics will actually stand by that and be like, yo, I'm shit compared to him. A lot of his comedy, if you watch it, he's making fun of LGBTQ, making fun of black people, white people, Hispanics. He's making fun of everyone. But you get a laugh out of it.
100%.
Because it's a joke, you know. But you have to be a little bit more on your toes with that in today's climate, because now people aren't kind of taking that. So translate that into movies. And it doesn't work well with movies as it will or does with stand-up. Stand-up is live. You get a live reaction, things like that. When you're watching a movie, it just comes off as vulgar. It comes off as insulting. So studios and writers don't want to take that extra step to incorporate it into their film, into their writing, because of the delivery aspect. It just doesn't hit the same. It just comes off as like very insulting as opposed to a joke. A great example of this actually was, you know, Animaniacs?
Yes.
So do you know the whole debacle? And
No, I don't. And I felt like I was like, because I only watched Animaniacs like when I was a kid.
Well, they just remade it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, and they made a joke about Johnny Depp.
With what's going on right now?
With Amber Heard.
Dude, I was literally not going in detail with that. It's been coming up on my fucking feed a lot, and I'm like, yeah. I guess I'll read it on it.
Yeah, Johnny Depp having the whole thing with Amber Heard, which in summer basically, Amber was claiming that he was hitting on her. Plot twist, she was lying. She was hitting on him.
Yeah.
Animaniacs made a joke about that. And this is where you have to be careful. And it becomes a thing of if it's a joke or if you take the joke too far. Now, a lot of people were giving Johnny Depp shit, and now people are saying fire Amber Heard from Aquaman 2. There's a whole petition. There's a whole thing going on. And
I heard she was being casted for Fantastic Four.
What?
Yeah, for Sue.
For Sue Storm?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Could be very fucking wrong. But I don't know if I want that.
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm not
I want Emily Blunt. I want Emily Blunt as Susan
I.
Storm, and I want John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic.
And I want Zac Efron as Johnny Storm.
Zac Efron?
Zac Efron.
Okay, I can see that.
You can see that. Yeah, they'll fix the hair and shit.
Who would be the Thing?
Man, who would I go for the Thing?
I wouldn't even know.
Someone gruesome, but like
gruesome.
Like I could say it. Maybe not even. Nah, I was gonna say Tom Hardy, but I don't think he would. Big, maybe.
I'd say Dave Bautista, but
he's already Drax. Yeah, someone comedic, someone very comedic. The Rock, no.
The Rock. The Rock playing the Thing.
The Thing. Oh man, I could totally see that.
Kevin Hart.
No, that dude. No, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, mate. Oh man, let me explain. I love that was one of my favorite ones. I don't know who could play the thing,
Yeah,
man.
I don't know.
But let's just skip that and then get back to it.
Yeah. So
But
yeah, they made that joke, and a lot of people aren't taking liking to it. The fact that the joke is actually them being like, "Oh, Johnny Depp's a liar," even though we now know that Amber Heard was lying, but the joke was implemented to Johnny Depp.
was that before? Or
This
that
was after.
Huh.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, Johnny Depp, oh, the liar," like something like that. I forgot what the joke was, and a lot of people were like, "Nope, we're boycotting the show." So going back to your question with comedy, it's something you kind of have to like it's like a thin ice now,
Right.
where all you can really resort to is what we used to laugh at, which is we kind of still laugh at it, which is slapstick. And slapstick is
I think that's more objectively funny.
yeah, slapstick is like everyone likes slapstick,
Right.
or for the most part. The Three Stooges, someone getting hit, someone falling, a pratfall, something like that.
But
Those are
yeah,
always funny.
that's even being, I wouldn't say censored, but
Restricted from what you can do and from what
Right.
you can say, and it just comes off like kind of cheesy, at least in my opinion. You seen Cock Blockers?
No,
I-
is that a recent one?
It's with John Cena.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been told that it was funny. I personally didn't see it.
Here's the thing. I don't think John Cena's funny.
I can okay, I can
But-
see that.
But like,
I
think,
personally don't either, but I
it-
haven't seen his work.
I think that is a learned thing. Just like The Rock, he didn't get his comedic chops until later on in his career.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So Dave Bautista also like any wrestler, I think he will come out later on as being super funny, but that right there kind of like gets me to understand that maybe a way to kind of like test his chops and see how funny he is. Another good example is Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth. That dude is funny. Like, he is hilarious.
Yeah.
And you could see it throughout time, like even in just like special projects and shit that he's done. But you put him in a funny role, he's just a funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Pratt, the same thing. Even that's whole dilemma with Chris Pratt and shit. But yeah, I think that is objectively funny, and I think that Animaniacs for one is a little. I think that's more adult based kind of humor.
Yeah.
Even if it's a cartoon. Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't. It's not Disneyfied, is what I'm saying, and because of that, I think they can get away with a little bit more than what they can portray it to be.
You have more freedom.
Yes, and that's the thing. I don't remember or recalling a lot of shows, but I can see that maybe being on Cartoon Network or something like that, because that humor has its own funniness into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It has its own style.
Right. And okay, so do you think because people know of comedy in a sense of stand-up comedy, they already know what they're getting themselves into?
Oh yeah.
Is that why it's okay?
Well, let me also say this, because while you were speaking, I thought about this and I was like, let me correct myself. Not all comedy has to be in political heat. That's definitely not the case.
Okay, well, give me one that's not.
Okay,
yeah, I can recall like Mexican humor, I guess could be.
Mexican humor.
Yeah.
Mexican humor. You gotta tell me a little bit more about that.
Like George Lopez.
Oh,
Like, you know what I
Gabriel
mean?
Iglesias.
Yeah, like he can recall a lot of humorous things that I don't even know if are politically, but like they're just stereotypically funny.
Right.
Okay, stereotypes. I guess
Yeah.
that's what
Exactly. Yeah. No, like I don't know. You said Chris Hemsworth, and I was thinking about Thor Ragnarok, but that's not a good example, because I know people who watched it and they didn't think it was funny. But for some people, that just strengthens my example. The fact that comedy is also subjective. Like it comes
can be also. It
Yeah.
can be. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes down to who's watching it and like who's the audience and who's it funny to.
Right.
Stand up isn't for everyone. A lot of people don't like the vulgarity of comedy, so there's other comics who aren't as vulgar. I personally don't know many that aren't, but I know that they're like what's his name? Oh my goodness, the Asian guy from The Hangover. He's also a doctor.
Oh, yeah. Dang it, what's his name? He was in Transformers 3.
Yeah. He has his own stand-up. I was actually watching him, and
Yeah.
he just makes fun of Asians.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but there's definitely I'm pretty sure there's stand-ups who don't do that. And so I was gonna use the example of Thor Ragnarok, where there's not at any point in that movie where they make fun of anything. It just comes down to Thor's childish demeanor. He's just so childish, but he's a grown ass man. He's a god, the god of thunder, and he's acting like a fucking child. So I don't know.
It's like that first part I don't know if you can recall, but I'm totally paraphrasing it. But it was whenever he met damn it, the dude with the horns at the very beginning.
Yeah.
He's like, he called out Thor, son of Odin. And he's like, his name, son of a bitch. Like like, I just think that's hilarious. Like, how are you doing, man? Are you doing all right? Like, that's like funny for me.
Yeah. It goes delivery. It can go. It goes in so many different directions. But like, definitely, it is something for the main part where a lot of it comes from making light. That's what comedy is, for the most part, making light of something that's not too dark, or making light of something that is dark, rather.
I can recall what you said in the very beginning, that comedy does get old or can get old, and what kind of I guess what kind of made me bring up the idea of like objectively funny. Airplane, dude. Even like some comedies live throughout time and say that's still funny. Like, and
that's
even
very much slapstick too.
Yes, yeah, and they do have some like mental humor in it, just kind of. But it's very much slapstick. I look back at like movies that were made in the 2000s, and I guess one of the oldest, not the oldest, but one of the ones that kind of I can recall that were hilariously funny are the Jump Street movies.
Okay.
Do you
the newer ones?
21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street. Dude, I think those movies are fucking funny.
Yo, when Ice Cube goes off in the kitchen.
How do you know this, man?
in the Ice Cube, man, he fucking steals the show.
He's so funny, bro. Like, and that's what I mean. Is that slapstick?
No, that's just Ice Cube.
No, just the movie. That's just Ice Cube. No, but the movie in general.
The comedy's just clever writing.
Right.
If from what I can recall, yeah, it's just there's some actually, because there is that one joke that they make when they're first showing up to.
Are you recalling the movie now?
They're first showing up to the high school, and Channing Tatum punches that kid. He's like, "You hit me because I'm gay?" Like, no, I hit you. I didn't know you were gay.
And you happen to be gay afterwards.
Yeah, like, I was always gay.
I was gay when you punched me.
Yeah, that shit is funny, But you introduce that whole, that whole dilemma.
Yeah.
So,
dude. Even in that same scene, right before that, it was like when they start pointing out. He's like, okay.
Oh yeah.
He's like, okay, those are goths, those are nerds, and then he's like,
I don't know what the.
He's like, the fuck are those things? I don't know, man. I just thought about it so funny.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that definitely is. There is slapstick, but it's definitely a little bit of that comedy that I was telling you about.
Yeah, and. That gives me to my next point is that I don't know if there's going to be another funny, like, die hard, like, you're going to die laughing funny, like, movies. Like, I don't know, was that a comedy? The one that you just saw? Freaky?
Freaky.
Or did it just have comedy, like, chops to it?
It was, I don't know.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that where I'm like, obviously 21 Jump Street was phenomenal. Like it came out as a funny movie.
Yeah.
Like that's how they market it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be another marketed movie like that.
Freaky was more on the horror aspect. No, I don't know how to explain it. You seen Happy Death Day?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Oh, okay.
It's like horror-ish, but there's some comedic elements to it.
Horror is a new fad right now, man. Like everybody loves horror now. Like that horror is the next, I guess. I don't know. A lot of people like horror now, so And I say that for like It and all these other ones that kind of like have a little bit of comedy slaps to it. But
I'm actually on the opposite end of the
Really?
spectrum. I feel like people are moving away from horror. I find a lot of people saying that they don't want to watch horror, not because they're scared of it, but because it's becoming too predictable.
do you remember the panel? Like some of the topics that we talked about, and one of the ones that he brought up or Chase brought up was the idea of this of superhero. I think that one's like the superhero fatigue.
Oh, yeah.
That one's I think more along the line. I feel like horror might still be around, but which one do you think it is?
Which one do I think
Is like the one that is going to go away?
Horror will always stick around because horror is one of those base genres. Superhero is a branch genre of action. Horror
True.
is a foundation genre. So that'll always be around, whether people will take a liking to it or don't. It's still going to be around,
Right.
because it's a foundation type of genre. Superhero, though, that can easily be something that a lot of people get fatigued with, and they might go watch it, they might not, but especially because of how frequent those types of movies come out. But horror will always kind of like be around. It's just a thing of like not making it so predictable. I was literally watching one last night. Seen Unfriended?
No, but I think wait, have I? That's the one. That's the one where
Strictly internet-based
yes,
movie? Yeah.
yes.
I fucking
It's that
love...
dude puts his hand in a fucking
Okay, so you saw the first one.
there's two?
I love the second one. Not kidding. Cannot make this shit up. I think Unfriended 2 was the most times I've seen a movie in a theater. I saw that shit 4 times. But it wasn't to see it for myself 4 times. I wanted to bring people.
Just to see what they thought.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's funny, dude. Like
They were like, yo, this shit is crazy. It's so good.
that makes the movie sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not going to go in depth with it, but the point I was trying to make was Unfriended. I was watching. The second one is it's better for me. The first one is very tropey, very cliche. Literally was watching it with someone, and they counted down a jump scare, and I was like, "This is so fucking sad." They literally were like,
they can recall
4,
it, yeah.
And they said 1 in the jump scare. I was like, "Dude,
Man,
it's very predictable." And
Yeah,
it's because
yeah.
horror elements, it's all about building that suspense. But if you do it repeatedly, it's kind of like a script, and you can kind of just call it. Things like the first It at least, kind of broke that away a bit.
right?
Where I don't know, it's just different. Like it was balancing this comedy. Usually if it's a comedic horror, it emphasizes that comedy.
Right.
And the horror element kind of just gets extinguished a bit because it's
Is that what you
overlapping.
felt with it?
Well, that's the thing. I think it was like a rare case where
It's a
I
good
feel like
standard.
it balanced
Yeah.
both. Where
Okay.
it was very funny at points because of the banter and the chemistry with these kids. But that shit got really scary out of nowhere for no reason. Like one moment they're talking shit, and then the next moment that scene when the kid's going down the stairs,
Yeah.
and then he sees Georgie, and Georgie's like, "You'll float too," and then the
That-
bass blows
basically-
up.
Yeah.
This shit's terrible. That shit is
It's
crazy.
terrified, yeah.
So there's different ways that you can mix it up. I feel did it. I did a great job at it,
Yeah.
and which is why a lot of people were kind of like, "Yo, that movie was great." And the second one, not so much. I don't think it lived up to the first one. But other than those, a lot of horror movies just follow like the same type of formula.
Format, yeah. Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, sometimes I even feel like that's what happens with comedy in itself. But maybe sometimes even like how you said, maybe or horror is kind of like dimming down a little bit, or people they know what's going to happen before it happens. They add some sort of twist to it, whether it's going to be a action sequence or just funny,
Yeah.
and it's all these new blends of like movies now. So that's the reason why I ask. Like, I don't know if like we'll ever see another comedy like those that we saw. Like Tropic Thunder was funny.
Oh my god, I fucking love Tropic Thunder.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like I'm just like I don't think we'll find
No,
or see another.
can't do that.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
not today's climate.
Yeah, Good Boys was kind of close, but it's still it for me. It wasn't as funny. Like,
I find personally, I know there's a lot of people who don't like Adam Sandler movies.
dude, I love Adam Sandler.
Okay,
movies,
so
man.
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. That is a no-go in today's climate.
I know, man. You can't make that. You
There's
cannot
no
make
way. But it's so funny.
that. It is so freaking funny, man. What's another one? Adam Sandler ones like The Waterboy.
They could
No, that's too stereotypical.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that
they
one.
can't do that.
I'm trying to think of his older ones. Like you can't even make a Happy Gilmore one without kind of
Can't.
no. Like
It's really, I would say it's sad, but like, me saying, just me alone saying, oh, it's sad, that would kind of like spark like, oh, so you don't think that this movement should be happening? That's not what it's
saying.
about.
Yes.
That's not what it is. Comedy is comedy.
Right.
It's the joke. Tropic Thunder did blackface. So many black
what do
friends.
you what do you think of that?
There's so many black friends of mine. We talk about it. This shit is the funniest shit in the world,
Dude, and it's so insane. I don't know. I can't recall. Like even
great.
Even people do not even Mexican face, but they do fucking Mexican stereotypes, and I find that hilarious. Like I find that super funny. And I don't know. People are just gonna like break it down and say, "Oh, really? You think your culture is?" I'm like, no.
It gets so political, and
100%.
It doesn't need to. Comedy
doesn't need to.
Comedy is comedy. Is there a line? Yes. There is a line, but you'll know when that line is crossed when it comes. It is just another good one. Which I need to finish. I haven't finished it, but sorry to bother you.
Clarify the line, because now that got me into the Borat movies, and I clarify your line, because I feel like Borat literally crosses that line so many times, and it's hilarious.
I've been told by many I personally haven't seen them. I need to watch them. But I could definitely see Borat crossing the line.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but Borat's a great example of crossing the line, but they don't give a shit. Like
okay.
Like they just don't. Like they know that Borat is one of those examples where they know that they're gonna get heat for it, but they don't care. Because they know that there's an audience of people who also don't care.
It's kind of like they know. It's kind of like how we talked about stand-up comedy. They know what they're getting themselves into.
Exactly.
Gotcha. I guess maybe it just happens to be like a PG-13 movie or something like that, where you can't do humor like that.
Because to my understanding, like I said, I haven't seen it, but to my understanding, they talk a lot and trash on like
dude, it's so funny.
Like Democrat, Republican, dude, like
100%.
Israeli government, feminism, LGBT, like the whole nine. They say fuck it all.
Dude, have you seen it? You haven't seen it yet?
I need to watch it.
It's so funny. I just found out that dude had the same birthday as me, and I was like,
oh wow,
no wonder you're funny.
Yeah, it's the greatest. That was a good way to put it. Just like stand-up, Dave Chappelle doesn't give a shit.
Dude, he does not give.
It's literally the same thing. It's just Borat does actually fairly well, but then it goes back to delivery. Mm-hmm. Does Dave Chappelle get as much shit as the Borat movie? I mean, I personally don't know.
I don't think so.
But I would think that Borat gets more. I literally have seen posts of, I think there was a company or a person that wanted to sue the studio, but the studio won. Yeah. So if Dave Chappelle made those same jokes,
right?
See, because it's delivery.
It's crazy. I guess, okay, so then it goes on deliverance then, not merely crossing the line.
Yeah, because Dave Chappelle, you go to the show and it's like a live thing, you know? But Borat is like, I don't know. I can't really explain it. It's just because of the format that it is.
Right.
It could come off insulting. Mm. Whereas Dave Chappelle, you're watching him like just from his isms and, the way that he's talking, knowing who he is, it's a joke.
Right.
And it's stand-up comedy. He has to go up there and perform jokes, so it is a joke.
Yes.
Whereas the movie, it could come off as, is it a joke, or are they just shitting on my religion, on my political beliefs?
Don't mess with the Zohan. I was about to say that was another one that was like a stereotypical one. That I'm just recalling all these movies now that I'm
I forgot all about that one.
Dude, it's so funny. But that makes sense though. Like, it's like, are they making fun of me, or are they just I don't know.
A joke.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I'm not making fun of you specifically, but it's I think I guess they're trying to make it more objectively funny, but that's something where I'm like trying to figure that one out alone, because obviously people that don't find it funny are gonna be the deciding factors of saying what you shouldn't and should do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like just like movies alone, they all have their specific audiences, so let it be. I think that's the best way to put it for me. That's the one. I mean, when it comes down to it, because Borat movies aren't going to click with everybody.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think Borat movies they are funny for people that find those things funny.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I also think about like why I asked you about blackface. I'm like, I don't, for you maybe like as an African American, like you probably don't think it's nothing. Not like saying it's not nothing, but you probably don't find it fun or find it insulting.
No, not at all. It was. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Right.
And he does so good. He does such a good job.
Who are you
That's-
calling
That's
you
the
people?
That's the funny. Yeah, that's the funny part. Like he does such a good. Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. playing an Australian, playing
Iron
a
Man.
black guy. Yeah,
Iron Man playing a black guy.
that shit is crazy.
He's like, what do you mean, you people? Dude, it's I found that so funny, man.
that shit is funny. It's a good movie. That's a good comedy.
Dude, it's like even the jelly bean part with Jack Black. Dude, Jack Black is hilarious, man.
Fucking jelly bean.
he's like, no, can I have some jelly? No, you can't have any freaking jelly beans. Like he just like says that. Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. I don't think he's done.
No. Do you think Jim Carrey is like objectively funny? Like how his style of humor is?
I would like to say that, but I know a lot of people who don't like him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, just like Dumb and Dumber type of stuff, or like
Just because he's very much of an overactor. It's actually one of the bloopers of Liar Liar, where he's acting one of his co-stars. It's like a banter, quick back and forth. It's just
Right.
like overactor, and they start busting out laughing because that's what he always gets shit for, that he overacts. But to a lot of people, it's a hit or miss. I personally think he's fucking phenomenal, but I can very well see someone being like he's milking that, like he's being way too dramatic. There's no need to be like that, and that's what Jim Carrey is.
that's who he is,
very
right?
facial. He's very moving. He reminds me so much of Charlie Chaplin, and his comedy comes from the way he moves. It comes from his
Gotcha.
body moves. He doesn't need to say anything.
Yeah.
He can just fucking move and make a face, and he like that's his comedy. So
Right.
it's a hit or miss, you know.
Yeah. What do you think of the Grinch?
I haven't seen The Grinch.
You haven't seen the Grinch?
No.
I'm sorry. Can you say that a little louder for people?
I haven't seen The Grinch, either the cartoon nor the Jim Carrey one. But here's the disrespectful part. Because I was forced to, I did see the recent one.
Oh, the animated one?
Yeah, that was done by Illumination.
How was that?
It was,
Was that?
yeah.
So are you laughing because it was funny, or are you laughing because
I'm laughing because I tell that to people and they get so pissed off.
I mean, dude, like you said, if people get pissed off because I mean, just saying, but like, ooh,
no, yeah, I need to watch them. No, yeah, I haven't seen. It's funny because I see like videos of behind the scenes a lot. I haven't seen the movie, and to my understanding, he does like a really good job at playing the Grinch, to the point where they're actually gonna give him like a whole like type of face mask type of thing, and they were like, yo, you're killing it with these facial expressions. We're just gonna give you fur on the side, and you're just gonna give you your face, and so he can make those faces just from his fucking face.
Literally.
And he's able to do that because his routine is actually standing in front of a mirror and like making different faces for like 2 hours, and he just has like that acting capability of just doing faces. It's crazy.
No, man, that's
he's good.
He's good. He's good. Grinch is one of my favorite performances of his, and I think I don't know why. I do know why, but it's just like there's so many things about that movie that are can live throughout time. So I think that's one of the most objectively funny things that I can recall.
My favorite Jim Carrey movie is which isn't
Yes,
favored
Man?
by many.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Yeah, I was
No.
like,
Not at all.
that's like one of his serious roles.
If I ever hear someone say yes, man. What? Oh my God, I lost it. Me, Myself, and Irene.
Funny.
I love it.
Funny.
Yeah, that shit is just too good for me. The fact that he just goes from like this super softy
Yes.
to
like this hard ass and like,
yeah.
dude, I saw that when I was like 7, right? I don't know why. I don't know. I probably already had like what I thought was funny at the time, so I didn't think that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Later on in life is whenever I found out that movie was funny. And dude, I do that with a lot. Shrek was one of those movies too. Like I find things in Shrek that were funny back then, and then I rewatch it and I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's like adult humor that goes into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
no.
I do that with a lot of movies now.
It's injected in a subtle way, and like you don't catch it
Nah.
unless you have the wisdom of age, and you just grow up and you're just like, oh shit, that like went over my head. One of the jokes, and it's not even a joke, it's just something that with rewatchability as I grew up, I was like, oh, I didn't even catch that with me, myself, and Irene. Irene's like, she has like a knife towards Hank, Jim's alter ego.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you don't think I saw the bag of lime? The bag of lime in the trunk. And it was basically, Hank was like, that was already in the back. Like, you think he just wanted to meet up to talk? And it was because the dude showed up to kill them. So I was like, oh, shit. And they found, I think it was a double-sided dildo.
That's what I remember.
And I just remember him going...
dude, some things like that, I don't know, they're just funny. I don't know why. But people even like, I don't know if it's just a male female thing, but like, it's just, I think that's objectively funny. That could be objectively funny, just like making those sound effects and stuff like that.
The way it shook and everything, she was like, you stuck it up your own ass. And he just like,
Oh gosh, man. Oh man, my freaking glasses are like fogging.
Or when he goes to take a piss in the toilet, like it's set up like so.
You know something funny is about to happen.
He's just like the camera and everything. He's just like, all right, he's gonna take a piss. Why is the camera on him? And he goes and he's like, ah, and then she goes, oh shit, oh.
Dude, it's just, I don't know, man. That's just like, that's funny. Like, I think I recall another bathroom scene was Ben Stiller's scene in I think it was Meet the Fockers, or I think it was Meet the Parents, and he's like, he clogs up the toilet, and then like he's trying so hard to unclog it, and like tries to like get some curtains or something, tries to put it in there, and then like he realizes that something gets caught in his zipper, and he fucking like zips through his dick, and then like he's like,
oh my god.
Dude, but dude, it's just the exaggerated. That's an over exaggeration in its own. Yeah. So I just find that funny. So I could say that's a little slapsticky because it's like pain, but yeah.
Or delivery.
This is also the delivery, because I can make that same claim with Jim Carrey, because his deliverance on everything is just,
it's what makes it.
It's what makes it funny. And I don't know. I'm trying to recall not a lot of stand up, and because stand up for me is on its own art. Yeah. So like the greats, like freaking, I don't know. I put him on the great, like Dave Chappelle. Eddie Murphy, Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker is so funny. I'm trying to think of like all these old but new, because I think the newest one is Kevin Hart. That's like the only one I can recall.
Which honestly, I don't think he's.
You don't think he's that funny?
No.
I think he's kind of mellowed down.
He's going down, man. I watched his. Did you watch his new special?
The new one, that one that was at his house.
Yeah.
Yes, I did, and he kind of is. Okay, let me get your perspective on that.
Okay.
Because I think I have my own little, with all the history that he's been through, and he talks about it in his comedy.
So when he first started off, what made it so funny? Like he has his own type of style where repetition. There's a whole thing that goes into stand-up comedy, which is what makes it funny. He has a very particular deliverance.
Okay.
In accordance with repetition as well. And so like one of the jokes that stand out to me is the deer bruh joke.
Deer bruh.
Deer. It looked like a deer and a zebra. A deer bruh. And with repetition throughout the whole. He kept bringing it up. Yeah. So that's just classic repetition. Yeah. Shit is funny. and he was telling that story because he was on a safari and with his friends, blah, blah, blah. Now, fast forward to his new special. Doesn't ever mention any of those friends. He doesn't mention any of those stories. He talks about, like, he's almost like the best way to put it, I put it to someone was, it's like he's like a couples therapist.
The one of mine is he's the funny uncle in the cookout.
The funny uncle at the cookout?
Yeah, because he could still get all that praise from making everybody laugh, but it's like because he talks about his family a lot, and that's, I wouldn't say that's also funny, like, but for me anyway, he got restricted because of whether that whole cancel culture thing with I guess making fun of the LGBTQ or whatever.
Yeah.
And then after that he had to, like, I think it even happened before, but like once he started getting very big, his comedy went stale. Wow, stale. Yeah, it went stale. And I think it was like one of the big arena ones. I can't recall the special, but it's a Netflix special. Also, it came out like 2017, I think. I didn't think that was funny, like the other ones, but I think he already reprised his roles in all of these family movies. And that's a stretch because I'm trying to think of like a family movie that he was like in because he's done, like, he was doing Jumanji, he's doing all these like other sort of.
He did Central Intelligence.
Yeah.
Did Jumanji.
And
oh my God, that one movie with Ice Cube where he was a cop.
Oh yeah. Dang it, what was that called? Two Guns? No. Ride Along. Yeah, Ride Along. The Wedding Ringer was probably one of the funny ones that I can recall.
Get Hard.
See him, and I think he gets praise on who else is with him, and I think him and The Rock have a better comedic chops than him and Will Ferrell did.
I think Kevin's a good co-star.
He is a good co-star.
I don't think he's a good
main person.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's not, and it's
lead.
It's not in his. I think he knows that. Maybe because his thing is comedy, but in a stand-up way.
Yeah.
He's always been like a secondary role in all of these different movies. And I think I can respect that, but once he started getting bigger and started doing all these bigger roles, he had to kind of mellow down on all these jokes that I don't even think, like,
there's literally a joke that I remember where the whole joke revolved around him trying to convince his son that he's not gay. That would not fly.
No,
but he made like a whole entire like 10-minute type of joke on it. I mean, and it was funny. It was funny. So I can definitely see why, like, maybe his jokes, he has to be careful with what he says.
Yeah, like
everything like that.
The one, my mama told me to tell you to mind your damn, like that.
See, and the reason why
the
reason why he has to be like that, because he very well doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to be. Like, he could be a Dave Chappelle if he really wanted to.
David Chappelle don't care.
Doesn't give a fuck.
But Dave Chappelle's not in movies.
That's true.
He's not on talk shows.
That's
he
true.
doesn't do anything. Literally, Kevin Hart was on a podcast and he was saying
it was Joe Rogan's probably.
No, it was someone else. I think it was Sway.
Ooh, okay, maybe.
Dave Chappelle flew in from Africa. He flew in from Africa. And he flew into Los Angeles, and he was just chilling in Los Angeles. He was like, I'm going to do a stand-up. Hey, yo, Kevin, you want to come? I'm literally just decided to do a stand-up.
No, I heard that. I think it was on Rogan because he's like, hey, I'm in Seattle, man. Like,
Seattle.
Yeah, it was Seattle.
Okay, yeah.
He's like,
it was
hey,
Rogan.
Dude, so am I. Yeah, you should definitely come by. He's like, I have a show actually coming up. I'll stop by afterwards. And he's like, all right, man, I'll be at the park. Like, that's where he just literally puts his comedy out in somewhere, anywhere.
So he doesn't have deals. He doesn't have contracts. So he doesn't have anyone to really. He doesn't have to be or play the nice guy.
The nice guy.
The nice, have a nice smile and political type of view.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Kevin Hart has to, and a lot of people have to. They have to play nice, and they have to follow
those
procedures and guidelines and all that, because they're making those marketing deals. They're making movies, and if you do that, you don't get exposure, and you're seen as not a good person.
Right.
And a studio doesn't want to be affiliated with that.
Right.
He turned down. Oh my God, what was it? Hosting, I think it was the Oscars.
Well, that was after they
It was
after they
cancel
accused?
culture.
Yeah, after he was accused, and
No,
then he said,
they,
"You know what?"
They pulled up a I don't know if it was a show or a tweet.
It was a tweet. It was a tweet.
Okay, from long ago. And he was like, I'm not gonna. The same conversation that we're having, that comedy just ages, and people are finding jokes from back then.
Dude, that was like years ago, like
And
a decade ago.
Yeah, and they're like, no, this is no bueno. And he's like, yo, I said what I said at the time. Like, yeah, times change, but like I said the joke, I can't take that back, and I'm not gonna apologize for it.
He did apologize though.
Did he?
Yeah. Well, he said he even said it on his.
Because he didn't host it. He was like, I'm not gonna
No,
apologize.
he didn't host it. He apologized though. He did apologize just because he's like he went on Rogan. He's like, I'm sorry. I don't know what else I need to say. Like, I don't know what else to do to kind of to make it seem. I'm totally paraphrasing this, by the way, but to make it seem like I it's okay. But obviously, that culture is gonna always hold that stigma to him. Is gonna hold that against him, and that's so disheartening. His name, but it's so disheartening because he always wanted to host the Oscars. He always wanted, and it deprived him from doing that. It literally took that option away, and you could see some, like, I thought that one was kind of funnier. His this one, because he kind of didn't give a fuck. He didn't give a shit about, like, but he talked about it. He's like, yeah, I kind of started, like, hence the name of his special. I don't not giving a fuck or something like that. And he's just kind of like now realizing, like, maybe, you know what, I shouldn't care about what people say. But because he was in that world, it was so hard for him to care, not to care. Yeah. And that's what's so hard for him. And man, when I heard that, I was like, that sucks. I was like, that really does, like, put a damper on how he could be, because he wanted to be one of the greats. Like, he is part of the great group. Like, he talked about, like, having a dinner with Eddie Murphy, Chris Tucker, Dave Chappelle, all these funny people.
Damn, that's
dude,
a table.
That's a table, man. And he was literally talking, also paraphrasing, but he was talking about how every person on that table, like just around, he knows why they're famously funny because of how he's, like, where he sat on the table. Obviously, he was the new guy, right, but he can see all of these different people that were just funny, being themselves funny, and he knew at that point, he's like, that's why they're famous. That is why they are who they are, is because of how how funny these people were. And when he was talking about that, he's like, that's when he started recalling, like, for me, I think that's whenever he started, like, having this understanding, like, I need to be not kind of like them, but I need to be more of who I am.
Accept who you are. Yeah.
Yes. And so maybe it's a slow realization, but I think Dave Chappelle did it perfectly. He just hence the Chappelle Show. Like, that's who he was for the longest time. And it just comes with respect with anybody that he just doesn't care. That's one thing right there.
He does not care at all. Nah. And he has a big audience that likes it.
100%. 100%. Oh, I'm going to do the camera real quick. But any last remarks, man? We hit an hour and a half, so we're gonna just tell people what you have going on, what's going on with you, and then we can kind of, like, finish it off.
Okay. So I'm working actually on a short film. I should be releasing, hopefully, I'm thinking by the end of the month. It will be posted to my Instagram, which is _crazed1. You had trouble.
I know we had a little trouble with it.
You could also add me on Facebook. That's full name, D'Angelo Rucker. You could add me on Letterboxd as well. That's Letterboxd, lowercase d, which is basically an application that you can get where big film community, and you guys can basically look at reviews, make your own reviews for different movies that you guys see. And I post reviews for movies that I see just about, I don't know, 2-3 times a week. Right. Full length reviews, and that's the _crazed1 as well. So if you're looking for a short film, probably by the end of the month. I'm hoping I can push that out. But most definitely, if not by the end of the month, then 2021 is looking like a good filming year. I have so many scripts, man.
All these optimistic things.
I just told myself, I'm just gonna bring out as many scripts as I can, and I'm gonna film them 2021. So,
believe it or not, this guy kind of gave me a little bit of chops on acting, and I was like, yeah. Dude, I was like trying to reprise this role that you wanted me to play, and I was like,
oh yeah.
Dude, that was a fun experience. I kind of want to do that again.
That's gonna be coming out
soon.
I'm thinking like in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
So mid December.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, he's a busy guy. I always love when you're on, man. I do. Thanks for the coffee again.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm drinking straight foam at this point.
Cheers, even though there's nothing in it. I'm drinking our Buck Start.
Buck Star?
Bar Stucks.
You had the pumpkin spice. I
Yeah.
had the caramel ribbon. Yo, I might need to get another one.
Shit.
On the way out of here.
On the way out of here. But yeah, man, thanks for coming on. I'm going to put his information down below, guys, so that way you can find him. Once again, he will be back on Instagram. I know your Instagram game is not way up there, but
it will be.
It will be.
Yes, sir, it will.
It will be.
At the moment, no, but it will be.
It will be. It's the best way to put it. Alrighty, folks. See y'all later.